Welcome to the Rise and Flow podcast with me, your host, Elaine, a 5-1 manifester and the goddess of fun. This is a space where we go deep into unlocking your magic so you can step into your power in your life and business. Tune in weekly with me and a host of expansive guests where we dive deep into areas such as energetics, spirituality, and business so you can rise and flow. Hello, Rise and Flow family. Welcome back to the studio. Today we have an amazing guest joining us from Bali, who is a global business strategist, community architect, serial entrepreneur, and one of the world's leading voices in quantum networking. So we're here today to talk about actually building real connection with presence. Welcome, Gil Petersil.
Hello. Happy to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so delighted to have you on, and just obviously because I love to introduce everybody's human design, astrology, and your soul purpose as we kick off the show. Gil is a 5-1 generator, emotional authority, and he's also an Aries. So you can see actually in this 2026 season of the podcast, there seems to be a bit of a trend where all of us 5-1s are being attracted to each other to talk about strategy, vision for the future, for the collective, and we're bringing the Aries fire energy to initiate you all. But Gil, beyond all of the amazing success you've had in coaching and mentoring entrepreneurs, leaders around the world, having an amazing book, all of the so many achievements you have, I want to go back to your story, how you came on your purpose path to networking and connecting people. He has a channel of community, by the way, also. But back to you as the immigrant child, your origin story and how you understood, I suppose, how humans really worked when you didn't even speak English as your first language. Like, just incredible. So just take the floor.
Yeah, thank you for that beautiful introduction. I still don't fully understand how humans work, but I do know that I'm a really good student. And these days, from what many of my teachers tell me, they're telling me that, I am the number one student of human networking in the world. Because in the last 15 years, I've dedicated a lot of my time and attention to studying the arts and sciences of human connections, to really understanding how we come together and what is friendship, what is partnership, what is joint venture, what does it mean to collaborate truly? Do we actually understand what it means to build these type of partnerships in life? And first of all, I learned that I didn't. I learned that through my life, I've made so many mistakes. And I call them now successful failures. And they happen in personal life, they happen in business life. And I call them successful failures because I grew from them, I developed from them. But, definitely when I look back, I'm like, wow, I did that so badly. And I'm still seeing some myself making mistakes in the world of networking, even though I could see it. I'm still human. I'm still affected by everyday life. I'm a father of 3. I'm a boss to many. I'm a partner. I'm a philanthropist. I'm an entrepreneur. I got all these different hats. And I think we all go through our ups and downs in the hero's journey. And it was not early on in my life that I understood what networking is, but because I have moved in my life 7 times, well, I've lived in 7 countries, I understood in my early 20s that, English being my third language at that point, and understanding that, hey, unless you learn to speak to people, well, you're not going to do very well in the company that you're working for because, you need to build relationships and you're not going to meet women. And that was very, very simple motivation. I was in my when I was 21 years old, I moved to London from Canada in England, and I understood very quickly, hey, I'm new to England. There is no social media. I need to help the company that I'm working with business development. I don't really know how and where to go to connect with people, and what should I do? And I started looking deeply into personal development, and I started looking at different teachers from Tony Robbins and Jay Abraham and Eckhart Tolle. I was like, okay, well, I didn't know really about the word networking enough, or at least back then, networking was very, very shallow. It was about like connect with people to get what you want in life kind of thing. It's like connect with people and you get more business, connect with people and you could sleep with women that week. It was like very short-term thinking, and it was not healthy, definitely not healthy. But it took me on a path of successful failures, trial and error of like, well, networking is actually a set of spiritual practices, is something I understood in my mid 30s. And it took me a decade to understand how much of my energy I wasted. and how much of my time I wasted with people that were not for me. Whether they were not for me because our values did not align, or whether I just wasted my energy serving them or trying to connect with them. And I also very early on in my life understood that the whole idea to network to try to sell something to someone could actually be really, really impactful in life if you're networking from the heart. And if you have a really good product and service to offer people, everything I was doing is I was finding a way to go through the noise and just get that signal. And it's like, okay, where is the right networking focus that I should have? And where is my networking priorities lie right now? And who should I be connecting with this week? Or myself as an introvert by nature, I was like, maybe I should not network today, and maybe I should take the weekend off. And it's been a challenging journey. Like networking for me it's definitely been the most uncomfortable ongoing journey in my life. And I wish that upon everyone as early as possible on their career journey and life journey in general.
Okay, I love this. Tell me, were you a bit of a people pleaser or over functioner before when you were in as one of the mistakes that you made in early days of networking?
I still am a little bit, but I do it differently today. Back then, when I was, early on in my days of London and I wanted to meet people, I used to just host events in my house because I can control the music and I can control the amount of alcohol that gets served. Where if I would go out to parties, it'd be so noisy. And I understood early on in my life that I have ADHD. I didn't know how to deal with it back then. Today, I know it's a superpower. But back then, I was so sensitive to the environment and I didn't function well in a loud club. So it didn't really allow me to connect with people so well. But yeah, people pleaser back then, I was like, hey, a really good way to network is to meet a lot of people and every couple of weeks invite them all to your house. It's almost like, hey, you can control the network. You can actually network with all of them while cooking for them and serving them. And they're in your home, so it's a good way of serving people and connecting with people. I was constantly trying to find hacks on how to make friends, constantly trying to find hacks on how do I build a network where I know I have limited time, so I don't have always time of one-on-one. But if you're serving many at the same time, that's really wonderful. And it's also where I started understanding that there is no need to constantly serve people one on one or to build a relationship one on one, but actually, it's beautiful to serve a community. It's beautiful to bring people together without any agenda. Like, hey, I need you to pay me money or I need you to go out with me. There was no agenda on the men or the women to try to find a date or to try to find a client. It was more about like, how do I bring people together and try to become a community leader?
Yes, I love this. Okay, so your soul, for its reasons, obviously decided to travel. And I mean, this in itself, making this decision, gives you I know you've studied with many people around the world, but I'm kind of going, but you're leading and pioneering in your own way because of your own life experience, like moving country 7 times, which I think we're probably on an equal keel on that. I think I've probably lived in about 6, 7 different countries as well. It is like recreating a new life from the beginning every single time, right? And like, I'm not sure, well, there's not a huge age difference between us, whatever. But like, I mean, I think I would have started on my travels like 10, 15 years ago when I first moved to China, right? You're in Canada, like this is pre-social media, like, pre all of this ways we have of digitally communicating. And it was very much like back in the days. I remember when I was working in China, networking was like, the books that you'd get and you'd come home after your networking day and you'd slot in the business cards and whatever. And it just never jammed with me. Like, I mean, it's not as if I've had a personality transplant in the last like couple of years. I've always been very direct. I never I never was able to like I didn't have a different persona as corporate Elaine versus as me outside of work. Maybe a little dialed down, like a little bit like quietened to some extent, but it was very much more myself. And I naturally found networking quite easy when I was real. I hated those stiff events. But at the same time, you learn every time going like, okay, how to make this better. And you learn from all the mistakes of kind of going, okay, some of these connections are just totally fake. A lot of people are traditionally taught to go in, get the business card, and they're going home, they're writing, okay, I met Gil, he does this, this is how he can help me connect and whatever. And it's done strategically. It's done through performance, not actually, as you say, with heart, which is what we want to get to. And traditionally, as business owners or people growing their network wherever, it's like your net work is your net worth. We've all heard this like a gazillion times. And why I was so excited, because I've talked about this so much since we've moved to Mallorca like 2 years ago. And getting back into an expat life is so different than the normal way of existing. Because a lot of people, if they live in the one place and that's their life trajectory, their network changes maybe when they have kids or they change jobs or whatever. But the level of growth and evolution is not as extreme, I would say, when you live the kind of, I suppose, way we do and have the different insights. And then you can't maintain all the connections. You have to become really clear as to like, okay, who's my inner circle? Who's my outer circle? What's my work acquaintances in a way that is aligned. So for you, like, can you explain, I suppose, in more detail of what you see the differences of the old networking and what is quantum networking? How can people like use this as a reframe their mindset on actually building deep, meaningful connections that are real?
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you very, very much for sharing that. For me, the level of quantum networking that I have studied is very, very small compared to what I know and feel exists. And what I know and feel that exists is that intuitively we know who we need to connect with every single day. And we're able to manifest the sort of people we want to manifest into our lives. They'll be introduced to us. We'll bump into them at the tea shop. We'll be
Yeah.
introduced to them by someone. But we're not at that level. I'm not at that level yet. I'm constantly working on that. But I do believe in writing down the type of people I want to meet this week. I do believe in writing down the type of clients I wish to have and the type of clients and businesses that I don't want to be involved in. Like I've written down for years the type of clients I don't want anyone to introduce me to. It's very beautiful that I don't get introduced to companies in oil and gas or in tobacco and on alcohol anymore because I've cut that out of my life. So I don't even get such introductions anymore at all. Like those companies don't even approach me anymore. And it's not that I've written it down anywhere publicly and say, don't approach me if you're in these industries, but I've written it down for myself. So energetically, clearly, I put it out there. And at the same time, I've understood that if I want to go through life, and as you said, we've moved countries a few times. I've changed industries more than 20 times. So I've counted my own as an entrepreneur. I left the corporate world at the age of 32. It was the last time I actually had a job where someone paid me. But since the age of 13, I've been trying to be an entrepreneur. And I'm saying trying because I've had more than 20 successful failures in different businesses. I
I
know
love
what it means to make $1 million in one day. I know what it means to lose all of your businesses in 1 week when COVID hits. I know exactly what it feels. I think and feel that when we have a network around us, there is always another opportunity. There is always another opportunity of someone to follow up with, someone to reconnect with. And what I love telling, my clients is instead of always going after a new network, sometimes it's just that to stop and slow down for a second and audit the existing network we have. And it's okay to be able to be strategic with it. It's okay to be strategic and have your heart in the same place. Because if you have your heart in the same place, you're a lot more open and authentic with who you want to attract and why. Being strategic at saying, well, I love you. I don't want to talk to you this week. I love you, but I only want to talk to you for 5 minutes. I love you so much. I'm going to just send you a voice message right now. I don't want to get on a call with you for an hour. And that's being strategic because you know how these people make you feel. You know what if they're going to give you energy or suck your energy. If they just want to get ideas from you or if they want to inspire you. Like we should know the people that we have in our lives and should be very, very honest with ourselves and say, hey, do I want more of such people in my life right now at this moment? Or do I feel like I'm stuck with these people because they've been there for 10 years? And in my life, and it sounds like it's the same thing in your life, which is very beautiful, because we have moved countries and maybe we moved industries as well, it's almost like we haven't had an option. We had to network in new networks. We had to cross pollinate within new networks. For me, the greatest thing to do in the last 10 years is to organize birthday parties and to invite people from all these different networks and industries that would never meet each other. But suddenly at my birthday party, all these different people meet up. And it's great because I'm a facilitator. So I love people meeting from different industries. I love people that were not meant to meet because of me. And that puts me as a cross pollinator. And that's what great networkers do. We take it upon ourselves to, you know, go through the trenches and go through the uncomfortable moments of reminding myself sometimes, Gil, you are an introvert. Don't go, 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 go. Slow down sometimes. Be home alone. And Gil, you are an immigrant. You have specific, codes in your head that you should remember that sometimes could limit you. Sometimes when I'm around immigrants, I see codes in them that I used to have in myself. Like, I used to be that way. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. Immigrants showed up in a new network. They had to network. They had to come out. Where people that live in the same city or the same country and they haven't moved really much in life, they're very comfortable within their network. So for them to change countries, it's very, very challenging, which is why I love to do that with people. I like to take people outside of their comfort zone a little bit and support them along the way. Take people on this journey. Like you mentioned, you were in Egypt recently. That is a very beautiful journey to go into because there's a history there of people going through Egypt, coming into Egypt, leaving Egypt. There's so much history there of how those pyramids showed up. And it's the same thing as like, how did I show up in Bali? It's a brand new network. I showed up here because we came here on vacation from Singapore, our last home, and then COVID hit. So suddenly I was forced to build a brand new network here. And I think that's the magic of life. Finding ourselves in a situation where like networking is the solution.
Yes, 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 yes. I love this. I just love hearing your story as well and the Aries fire. And it is like life begins outside the comfort zone. So let's talk about energy here for a minute, because I think this is the real key thing. When people think of traditional networking, even I would say my husband, I know I talk about this with anyone. And I remember when I was asking you for your human design details, because I was like, does this guy have a 4 profile? Like, because if you have a 4 profile in human design, naturally you are the best networker. Like any leader, entrepreneur that I've ever done human design with that has a 4 profile, like straight off, I'm kind of going, they generally don't even have websites, right? They've just built, it's just this natural ability. You've the channel of community, which is obviously your gift, and understanding how to build that with real resonance. And when I would say to people, even to my husband, I'm like, babe, you need to network. Like, this is part of your design. And he's like, I fucking hate networking. And I'm kind of going, that's because you come from corporate. And he's like, I'm just exhausted afterwards. And I'm like, because it's small talk, right? And I know as Aries, like, I mean, straight off, I'm here going, tell me this, girl, or whatever. We don't do small talk. It's so boring. And this is why I know that I was naturally good at networking, even though I didn't see that as a skill, because I don't do small talk. I couldn't do it in corporate. Recently, there's a study just published actually in Denmark where this work organization banned small talk in the office for 1 week because they were noticing that all the staff, right, were fatigued by lunchtime. And because they're really talking about small talk, what are you doing with the weekend? How's the weather? All this kind of shit, right? And as an Irish person, I absolutely detest talking about the fucking weather. I'm like, just don't talk to me. I'd rather be in complete silence. But they noticed that burnout symptoms reduced by 41% in 1 week and productivity increased because of the lack of the small talk. People want real connection, but it's like we need self-awareness, first of all, of how we individually work to really understand energy. But on a very simple level of what you said was like, how do I feel when I'm in this connection? Like tune into like how we're feeling in our bodies. Like I was at this, I've built a network here in Mallorca. I've been to like 2 networking events, right? So I've been doing what you were saying. Like, I was like to my husband going like, oh, who do we want to meet? I'm like, well, I really want to meet a couple that's going to like expand us. Like, like more conscious couples that are on this path of like, they don't want to send their kids to traditional schools. They're going against the grain and they're trying to raise the world's consciousness, whatever. And then literally a week later, I walked into a coffee shop, met this girl. We started chatting, and it turns out she's got the same incarnation cross in human design as my husband. There's actually so much mirroring, and they've been a beautiful, expansive couple for us on this journey. And I'm kind of going, this feels good. When I went into 1 or 2 traditional things like the strategic approach, like, go into it, I hated it. And so now I just leave. I don't waste a second. If I'm feeling my body, I'm like, I'm trusting my spleen, kind of going, no, this didn't light me up. I'll be like, oh, sorry, I need to go and get a glass of water actually, because I just couldn't be arsed. So I would love this is my obviously personal rant on this, but I would love your professional insights on and what you teach in quantum networking of like trusting that resonance and how people can like really just feel and network with presence and less of the performance.
I love that. First of all, thank you so much for sharing so much of your story. It's such a beautiful, refreshing, more of a discussion we're having rather than a interview. I do these regularly. So I
Oh,
really love your style here. Just to acknowledge and compliment everyone who's listening to this, give some more love to Elaine right now as you're listening.
thank
Pause
you.
whatever you're doing. Just send her some love wherever you want in the world. So there's a few things here. I love what you're saying, especially about presence. And in the last couple of years, I've reinvented a lot of my methodologies in connecting it to presence. Understanding that teaching people about networking hacks and teaching people on how to connect and how to ask good questions and how to follow up is nothing compared to understanding that we have very limited time every single day. So presence actually allows us to have a lot of time. And it's very beautiful for me. I've started to hack time. I started to break down not just understanding that we have 24 hours in a day, but breaking it down a little bit more and looking at numbers. I like numerology very much. And something I guarantee that 99.9% of all of you listeners don't know, most people don't know the significance of 1440.
No, what is this? I do see this and I love numerology. What is
Yeah.
the significance?
So most people know the number of 144 and then they know 000. And that number shows up a lot in every single spiritual book in the world. Anyone who's looked deeply into anything from numerology to science to all this, the religious books in the world, they all speak of this number in different ways. Has a lot of significance. 440 together is also equal 9. 2025 is the ninth, is also 9 together. 440 is the number of minutes we have in a day. And there's a lot of significance to that because doctors have said to us for a long time that we should sleep for 7 to 8 hours. And if you sleep for 7 hours and 20 minutes, it's about 440 minutes. That means you have 1,000 minutes that you're awake. So if you have 1,000 available minutes in every single day, there's no reason to ever say to anyone, I'm busy.
Interrupting this episode for a quick initiation. If you are listening to this and you're feeling the pull for more clarity, more alignment, more you, then this is your invitation. I have created the best of you for people who are done trying to fix themselves and they're ready to embody who they're here to be. Over 6 weeks, we work with your energy blueprint, nervous system regulation, breathwork, ritual, and hypnosis to clear old patterns and anchor a new identity that actually not only attracts but holds the life you want. You don't walk away motivated, you walk away clear, aligned, regulated, and magnetic as fuck. If your body just said yes, you will find the link in the show notes.
It only takes you a minute to send someone a message. Only takes you a minute to pick up the phone and leave someone a 1 minute voice message telling them that you're thinking about them and that you love them. So saying to people that we're busy is kind of something, it's almost like we are insulting our own intelligence of appreciating how much time we really have every single day and how important the network that we have around us is. And it's not just the immediate network. So what I like to tell people in order to quantum leap their life forward is to start by auditing their networks and understanding who's around. Anyone who's listening to this who wants a free gift, I have a free networking audit. Feel free to just send me a message anywhere. The only Gil Petersil on Google and just ask for a free gift. Tell me that you heard this from Elaine. That's good, even better. And the networking audit helps us understand, wait, before I move further in life, let me just see who's there. Who's got my back? And potentially also to understand who's holding me back. And that's already a massive insight that most psychologists and therapists need you on their sofa for a couple of years until they finally tell you that.
I
Like
know, right?
really, and I love my family, and I'm not going to say that my family's got my back, and that's okay. But if they don't have your back, it means that unless you know how to network with them, they might be holding you back. And that's really, really important to just kind of to be okay with that. It doesn't mean that someone doesn't love you. They could love you, and if they love you in their way, not the way that you need the love right now, they might be holding you back from your ultimate self, from being the best you could be, from unleashing really the power within. And what I've understood that one, start by networking, auditing your network and understanding who's there. Look on your social media, look on your WhatsApp, look at any of your inboxes. See who are you giving your time to? Who are you giving your precious minutes every day to? if you have 1,000 minutes that you are awake every day, those minutes could easily be broken down. So some people want to allocate some of their awake minutes. Let's just say, again, round it up. We sleep for 440 minutes. It's a little bit more than 7 hours. That means you're healthy. 1,000 awake minutes. And then who are you networking with? Who are you giving your attention to? So let's just start with giving attention to God or universe, spirit. Every day, maybe some people want to meditate, they want to pray, they want to do something for religious, spiritual reasons, X amount of time. And some people want to just give time to themselves, like just be alone or eat alone or shower, just be alone. Okay, X amount of time. And some people have cats or dogs, especially if you have a dog, you got to take the dog for a walk, and that's networking with your dog. You know, you gotta go out for a walk. And then some people multitask; they'll network on their phone while going for a walk. But let's just say you love your dog so much, it's fully you and your dog networking time. You know, it's okay. You go with them. And then you have all this time left. And well, let's even give more. Some people love nature so much. They love to go and just sit in nature and just be in nature. Maybe it's not every day, but it's a few times a week. I love being in nature. Nature gives me a lot of energy. So that's a little bit more time. And then it means that all the time you have left, you're networking with other human beings. That is all we do all day long. It's like if you've gone through all this networking with spirit or God, networking with your pets, networking with yourself, everything else we are doing is connecting with others. So auditing that is really important because it means that who are you giving your time to? Every time you're working on an Excel sheet, on a presentation, every time you go for a meeting, it's all for someone or with someone, always. So the greatest way to find happiness in life or growth in life, I find, is to start by auditing the network to see who you're giving your time to. And are you happy with that? Does that give you energy? Again, are they holding you back or they have your back? Number two, start to compliment people around you a lot more. Like, who do you really, really like in your network? And like, just send them verbal compliments, non-verbal compliments, mindset compliments. Just see who's in your network that you love and maybe who's a little bit outside of your network. Like for me, for example, from the age of 18, I had Tony Robbins as someone I really liked. I was following him. I liked listening to him, but I didn't have this knowledge I have today of attracting someone into my network. And it was really in my early 30s that I started working with network manifestation blueprints. And I started sharing with others. And then one of my friends said, you know, what are you doing with your business? I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of it. I need to like somehow make changes. He's like, why don't you go and like go see Tony Robbins? You're always talking about him. I'm like, oh, like, you know what? I love that. Okay, let me see how I could do it. Oh my God, $10,000 to go to his event and fly there and like all of this costs? How? And using my own codes, I managed to become a promoter for Tony Robbins that year. And 3 years later, I became one of the biggest promoters. And 2 years later, I became the biggest promoter in the world. And for Tony Robbins. And 2 years after that, I organized his biggest event for 26,000 people in Moscow. And I was invited to his home for a one on one meeting. So everybody's like, what, Gil? I don't want to wait so many years to meet my role models, to attract my husband or wife. I'm like, well, you don't have to if you follow these models of like auditing who's there, starting to compliment people, even in your mind. Just send out compliments like, who do you wish to attract and why? My next model is like starting to ask really good questions. And I love what you were saying before that, you know, us like Aries especially, we don't like to have too much small talk. We like to go deep dive. So I don't ask people, what do you do? I love asking people, you know, why do you do what you do? Or what's the greatest thing you're currently focused on? Or what kind of priorities do you currently love in your life? Or who do you want to meet at this event is one of my favorite questions to ask them. Like, if they're going to answer someone that sounds like me, great. If they don't want to meet someone like me, I'll find a way to introduce them to someone right away because that's not who they want to meet. And the greatest model I've had to learn that's helped so much, it's this power of reconnection. Like in the
Mm.
corporate world, we call it following up. But as humans, as people, we are so bad at reconnecting because of this mindset that I am busy. I am busy. I don't have enough time. That's when I come back to this. But you have 1,000 minutes every day. It only takes you 1 minute to follow up with someone. So why are we busy? So then it becomes this kind of new lifestyle and things just open up. And suddenly I love it when my clients call me up and like, oh my God, Gil, you help me have so much free time in my life. Like, oh my God, Gil, I'm making so much more money because I'm only dealing with the kind of clients I love dealing with. And I like that we're able to hack our life by understanding time and networking.
Yes. And really what you're saying is understanding energy. Like we're looking at the tangible forms of like of time, but coming back on this, right? There is so much gold in this. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. I love this. But and I've gone through such a journey on that, obviously, since I've left Ireland again and I'm back on the international circuit. I feel I've traveled an insane amount this year. I mean, I've been working from Switzerland, Egypt, Thailand, and I've been reconnecting with people I would have worked with in corporate actually as well, like back in the days in Asian, which is so beautiful. And it really is like you actually can witness your own growth so much. Like, say I was in Thailand and we this reunion in Bangkok. I met an old colleague of mine, and then reflecting back, wisdom my soul probably already knew because I mean we're Aries, right? We're spicy as fuck. And even when I was in corporate, I would have been kind of going, God, that was so boring, sucked the life out of me, whatever. I mean, I was still that person. And it was like my soul was screaming to unbox itself. But one key thing I'd love you to explore more with for people, because I'm sure everyone's listening to this and is really resonating, kind of going, I'm fucking done with my network. This has kind of come up as a bit of a theme, actually, I've seen, because we continually grow. If anyone's listening to this, anyone that listens to this podcast, right, it's at Rising into Your Potential, everyone has a growth mindset, right? So we're here kind of going, right, how do I refine and align? So you're saying, okay, they do an audit of their circle. And here's the thing, like I would say on anything with energy, like the same way as if we've got a plant that's dying, like, you cut off the dead leaves and then the plant resurrects itself with so much life force energy. And as you said, we waste so much time in a day. What you can spend 2 hours just scrolling on fucking Instagram, like doom scrolling, when you could be actually having meaningful connection. But yet we all say we're lonely because we're over communicating, but we're under connecting. So first step, I've got in my network and I'm realizing, okay, this doesn't light me up. This person doesn't light me up. How do I manage that? Most people like avoid confrontation. How do you let that relationship fizzle out? So we can move into then the phase of calling in the qualities of the people that we do want in our network.
It's so powerful. So, you're going basically very deep into auditing the network, to
I know.
understanding who's most relevant right now. And, I have different frameworks that I created. And again, anyone that's listening, I offer pretty much almost everything out there for free. I like to give people a lot of content for free because networking is not something I created. I just understood it differently. And even though I've been on covers of magazines as a networking master, I'm like, no, 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 guys. I'm a better student than you are, and I'm not scared to mess things up. I'm not. I've gone through it. It's okay to let someone down sometimes. It happens. I'm human. It's okay to not need to make everyone happy. There's 8 billion people out there. Some people just don't want to be happy, and it's nothing to do with me. It has to do with them on that day. One of the frameworks that I really like is just care, CARE. And we do care as people. We generally care. So if you care about others, others will care about you. And what does that mean when it comes to looking at the network and looking at what's relevant to me right now? So care, CARE. So first we start with contextualizing. Contextually, like, do I need these people in my life right now? Like, are they relevant to me right now? Family, yes, I love them, but do I need to talk to my mom every day if she drains my energy? Well, maybe I could do video messages to her 3 times a week. And once a week, when I am comfortable, when I am energized, when I am ready to exchange energy, I will call her. So, contextually, who is it that I need to speak to right now that is most relevant? And it's based on energy management as well. Like, they give me energy, they take my energy, they exchange energy. It's just good to be aware of that. And we can audit that by writing it down quite simply. The A is for acknowledging. Just whoever gives you energy, take a minute, send them a voice message. Hey, Elaine, I just was thinking about you today. I want to let you know that the last time we met up for tea, you left me with so much energy. I just want to let you know that I love you and I miss you every single time we meet up. And let's not wait 1 month before we see each other again. I wish you all the best of luck in your new project. Keep me updated with how things are going and don't be a stranger. Feel free to leave me a little voice message and tell me how things are going next week. So sending someone such a voice message, acknowledge the ones who gave you energy is beautiful. And doing the same thing with saying, hey, Josh, it was good to catch up with you and to learn about everything that's been going through your life. I appreciate it. It's been a difficult few months. I just want to let you know that I resonate with that. I know what it means to have a difficult year in life, and I've had my ups and downs. I'm currently so focused on what it is that I'm doing, and I respect that you might need a lot more of my help, but I would highly recommend, like what I did is I looked for mentors that can help me out. And what I'm going to ask you for is for the next 2, 3 weeks, I might not be responding to you. I got to really focus on my project, and I'm not going to be as active socially. So again, I'm just acknowledging that I'm not telling him you drained my energy today. I'm just saying, hey, I know you're going through something. I'm asking you for a little bit of space. Now, a lot of people don't feel comfortable to do that because, like, no, I want to be a good friend. No, 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 no. Sometimes being a good friend is giving them space. Sometimes them not venting to you and telling you how bad their life is sometimes they need to find a therapist to do that with or a coach. Let them do that. Sometimes our friends, our family is not a good coach. So we should just acknowledge the people who are right or wrong for us in that moment. The next thing I would say, the R, is to re-engage. So to re-engage is maybe a couple of days later or a few days later, to re-engage with the people that gave you the energy, the people that you enjoyed meeting at that event, and say, hey, Susan, it was really great to meet you at Friday's networking event. I want to let you know that I've met so many amazing people, but you really stood out. We started talking about what it is that your company does and really inspired me how it is that you engage with your community. I'd love to buy you a cup of tea. I know that there's a really beautiful new tea house right next to your office. Maybe I can come by on Tuesday after work and serve you a really beautiful cup of tea. Let me know if that works out for you. So just to re-engage with people, to follow up with people is really, really beautiful way to give people a reason to show that you care. And what I tell people is don't wait for them to respond to you. They might not be as efficient as you are in networking. A lot of people are awful at networking. So just because you've re-engaged them once, this is not ping pong. Don't wait for them to re-engage you back. Maybe they read your message and they forgot to respond. Maybe they haven't had a chance to respond because they're completely backlogged with all of their inboxes. If they don't respond to you and the next day has passed and you want to meet them tomorrow, just send them a friendly emoji with a smiley face. Like, bring yourself back up to the top of the inbox. And some people are like, no, I don't want to bother them. No, no, no. You're just re engaging. If they don't want you to engage, they'll say no, thank you. If they don't respond, don't take it as a bad way. Don't take it as a rejection. We tend to take people who don't respond or people who read our message and we see two blue check marks and they don't send us a message back like, oh, they don't like me. No, they're just busy. They got distracted. They have so many things going on. So that's the R. And the E for me, it's the ability to extend, to give them a reason why you want to reconnect. To give them a reason, you gotta make sure that people understand that meeting with you is relevant to them as well. So you gotta make sure that it's not just I want from you, it's I feel that we can exchange with each other. Like, let me buy you lunch could be nice enough. It depends on what the reason is for. I'd love to learn more about your company because I think that, our current project needs some of your services, but I wanted to talk to you face to face. That could be a good reason to allow people to do that. Or like, I really wanted to meet up with you again because your laughter and your smile was in my mind and in my heart the whole weekend. I couldn't stop thinking about you. I wanted to see you again face to face. If it's something a little bit more romantic, you could say something like that. So for me, this care approach is a way to have a framework that you're able to re-engage with the people that you feel great about, and others, you can engage them, but tell them that you need time and space in a very gentle way.
Yes. I think this is gold. This is like a masterclass in itself, the care framework, and no better than 5-1 profiles. We develop such amazing frameworks that and I think, I don't know, it's a combination with the Aries as well. It's like saving time because we want the time by ourselves. We want the time in our nature. Like, we want to get the most efficient way of getting shit done so we can be
Yes.
present. But what is so beautiful in all you've said there in all of it is in like what people are walking away from is not what you do, right? And I have questioned this sometimes, and this is why in the intro of the podcast I'm like, amazing, it's beautiful to celebrate all your achievements and the awards and your best-selling book, but it's really your soul is what people are going to remember from here. It's like, like, Gil made me feel seen. I feel like I would have had these thoughts about networking and maybe thought it was a load of bullshit and I should be feeling more energized. And now I really understand. And there's a connection. It's an energetic connection that is worth way more than accolades and titles and all of these things that I think we've been trained to look at when we're networking. Which brings me into the next question on your ascension pathway, right? Because you've been on a massive, beautiful spiritual journey and also you've grown huge, successful businesses. And when you start getting really successful in your life, more like in terms of, business doing well, finances doing well, the importance of protecting your inner circle is fucking huge because for what you've built. And a lot of people, because it's like the brighter you shine, the brighter a light shine, the more flies and everything that it attracts. And this is where discernment comes in, and what you're teaching here is absolutely gold with the care framework. Because it's like, filter this and really come back to like what feels truly right for me. That's not logical, but in your experiences, kind of you've grown. Any lessons that you can share personally?
Yeah, that's so beautiful the way you're sharing this. It's energy. I don't want to take it too deep down the rabbit hole, but we have a lot of it. Let's just say there's a lot of science now, and there's a lot of information on how to regain energy. And I'm really into longevity documentations these days. I'm absorbing a lot and everything connected in the biohacking space. I've been going very deep into. There's clearly a lot of science that speak about getting our energy from the sun, and there's energy from breathing, breath work, and there's a lot of science that talks about the food and the type of drinks that we have, the type of water you have, if it's alkaline water and hydrogen water, and having a plant-based diet or having an organic diet. There's a lot of there when it comes to energy. Clearly, there isn't enough that speaks about energy from networking. And to me, that is the ultimate place to get energy or to be drained by energy. And just because I've studied this stuff doesn't mean that I'm even close to mastering it. I'm a very young student in mastering energy management when it comes to networking, because I can meet with someone and based on how they feel that day, they can completely drain my energy after a 30-minute meeting. And also, maybe they just got into a fight with their girlfriend or boyfriend. Maybe their son or daughter just had a big problem in school and they're dealing with that, and they bring that with them into a meeting. And that's a lot to handle. And I'm still young at all this. So I'm learning how and when to choose to have specific meetings with people. My calendar is pretty well managed by my assistant, and I've empowered her and I've taught her over the last few years on when to have some meetings with me and when not to. Like, there are some days of the week I don't want to talk about finance. I don't want to talk about money at all. Don't put me
Only
in
on
front of an Excel
Thursdays.
sheet. Yeah, so well, that's a good day. That's like on Mondays and Fridays, I only want to talk to my internal teams, for example, or people that really, really, really inspire me. I don't need anyone that just wants my energy. I don't want anyone that needs me. I don't want to do any coaching sessions on Mondays and Fridays. I love coaching people. I love mentoring people very, very much. And outside of being an entrepreneur, I really enjoy spending about 30% of my time coaching and mentoring. But sometimes my clients want my energy. They want me to just inspire them and give them frameworks and, motivate them that, yes, you can do it. Come on, you're almost above the hurdle. And take one more step. And especially this past year, whether people believe it or not, we've been in the year of the snake, the Chinese horoscopes. And that's been a big, big, it's not been an easy year for a lot of people. There's been a lot of left and right and, trying to avoid the challenges of life and trying to kind of, go around the challenging people. And I like believing in this because it's like it makes sense and it's been very aligned for me. And next year being the year of the horse, I feel so good that we're all going to start running and we can gallop and we can jump over hurdles and we could start riding in the right herd and we can get into the right kind of, and the horses like to be in herds, so we can get into the right community with the right people around us. And there's so much there to say, and people will go through something huge in the next couple of months. And as the year ends for everyone, people will go through this kind of what must I leave behind in 2025? And who do I want to sit down with and really have a cup of tea? And this is why I have this movement called Chati, because Chati is not just about being more chatty in life, but it's about having time for tea with the right people. And
Mm.
time for tea is just when things slow down. It's not me tea to go, I'm rushing somewhere. It's stopping what's out there and going back to what we had when we were young. I remember when I was young and I was not feeling so well, my grandmother would come and give me a cup of tea. And I see that in some cultures in the world, especially in Asia, already thousands of years, tea is a part of welcoming someone into your home, and tea is a part of starting a business conversation. And there's something there. There is a history there. And I believe there's a scientific and spiritual history there. And I want to come back to it. And I see it as a hack for human connection. I see it as the ultimate hack to sip into presence with others. So when we are looking for deep connection with others, all we got to do is just sit in front of someone, look at them, and sip some tea and just allow sharing to happen. Allow that conversation to flow where there is no need for a beer, wine, or coffee. We need to look at this new era of networking. And I
Mm.
call this quantum networking codes. And I believe that people do need codes. And recently I created this new program where I just put a lot of my frameworks out there. I've been giving them out for free for so many years. And for the last 10 years, I've been accumulating them. And I said, you know what? Before the end of the year, I promised to my community I'm going to put together a program, put it out there, and just give people the codes to just try it out. Like just to try what does it mean to build relationships differently? Because clearly, humanity, we got it wrong. We
Mm.
don't know how to network as humans. We just don't. We're doing it horribly wrong. And then once we've done it wrong, we're then trying to fix our mistakes, which is why many of us need therapists and coaches. And the same thing when we don't network, the opposite of networking, when we unnetwork, when we uncouple, when people divorce, they separate, they quit jobs, they get fired from jobs. We're not good at leaving networks either. Like we're
Exactly.
really horrible at it. And I tell people, stop trying to fix the way you're connecting and disconnecting. Look at new codes of connecting and disconnecting. And it's like trying a new diet for 10 days. It's like trying a new haircut. It's like you want to learn how to play the piano. It's not going to be comfortable the first 100 times you play the piano. It's not. You want to learn how to suddenly be a gourmet chef making Japanese food and you've never done it before. You're going to suck at it in the first few times. You need to get good lessons. To me, networking is the same thing. It's like learning a new language without the assumption I'm pretty good at it already. No, no. Assume, ladies and gentlemen that are listening, I'm pretty bad at it. Instead of trying to fix the way I am, let me learn different codes of doing it. It's like, let me try a different job, a different industry, a different country. It's the same thing.
I love this. And I love I just love your brain, but like the piece on the Asian piece as well. I literally only said this to my husband when we were in Egypt, the tea shops and the shisha bars that were everywhere. And bear in mind, obviously, it's a Muslim country, so there's no alcohol. And I'm like, but it's amazing. And we were talking about this actually as well. I mean, I did give up alcohol for my spiritual journey, but now I enjoy a glass of bubbles here and there. But I don't like, as in going out late at night. I'm like, for me, is like not like once in a blue moon for a good gig or whatever. But it affects too much for me the next day. But I remember having these conversations where I was like, but I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. But what I'm seeking is actual human connection. And what other ways can I do this in a way that's aligned for me? And we were actually also talking about the tea shop. Like, how amazing is this that the guys just finish work and they come down and they get a cup of mint tea and smoke their shisha. And they all have this beautiful connection, regardless of what socioeconomic background anybody has. Everybody is doing this. Do you know? Because I spend like a lot of time in my brain. I suppose I've spent a huge amount of time in Asia as well. I'm kind of looking at going like, wow, I don't understand. I think the Western mind is diseased. Everyone's like earning more, but I feel like people are getting like their bank balance might be increasing or their salaries. It's getting poorer. You know, like connection is we've over communicated with technology now. It's meaningless. Like, you know, the likes and social media has massively changed like how we connect. And people think, oh, well, I liked your thing on social media, but that doesn't actually make someone really feel seen. Do you know what I mean? It's massively changed. I really love this idea of you bring it back. So like, yeah, let's sit down and have a cup of tea, because connection is just so powerful for our own existence. Obviously, I could massively open this down the rabbit hole of looking at like each energy type in human design and whose strategies to respond and how we all interact with each other and to build networking. But I think that's actually something we should definitely explore this.
Yeah,
So
well, the idea of tea, of course, is not mine. The tea has been around for thousands of years, and tea is the most drink in the world after water. But as humans, we've kind of diseased it. We've dirtied it up. We've added sugar, and we've added flavors, and we've added artificial things into it, and we've turned it into a random drink. Why not explore what do we need as humans to connect? And what helps us to connect a lot is ceremony.
mm,
People really connect well around. So why do people like to eat together? It's a ceremony. Why do people like to open a bottle of wine from the knees in a chateau in France? Because it's a ceremony, opening the bottle of wine and looking at the label and speaking about it. People enjoy that. There's something quite unique about creating this ceremony around the table. Why do people like shisha? Because it's a ceremony. They pass that pipe around. They're doing it together. There's so much out there in our lives that is ceremonial, but these days people are eating around a table and they have phones in their hands, or people showing up to meetings and they have laptops or phones right in front of them. What I have tried to do is, for already 15 years, I've taught the arts and sciences of human networking at over 1,000 events around the world. And I've been paid to do it, to teach entrepreneurs and work with a lot of corporations. I've even had multiple governments teach me to help them outline codes of networking to build relationships with people from other cultures. It's very interesting. Cross cultural networking is huge. It's a massive weakness in the world. And not only culture, you're from this country and I'm from this country, but cultures can also be you've been working in this company for 5 years. That company had its own corporate culture. You're now coming into our company. Our company has a completely different culture. What does that onboarding look like? What does that induction program look like? And people get that wrong. And I tell them, hey, listen, we got to look at networking differently. You got to help that person network in this new culture. So don't get me started about men and women networking. That's a whole other can of worms that I'm not even going to go there. And we think we're good at it, but hey, the fact is more than 50% of marriages are breaking down within less than 2 years of them being married. They break down and they're getting divorces. And that's not okay. It means that don't try to fix what is not meant to be fixed. Look at something else. Look at a new code. And, I'm someone that have experienced this as well with the same woman for 15 years, but 2 years, and we have three amazing kids, and we built multiple multi-million dollar businesses. We've been in more than 30 countries together. We've had our ups and downs. We've served the world, and we've also served each other in the most epic ways possible. But 2 years ago, we sat down for a 12-hour conversation and we understood that we wished to uncouple. And we've looked into conscience uncoupling to do it in a beautiful way, to understand that it doesn't have to be negative and it doesn't have to be disgusting. And why are all these people getting divorces and breaking up? Why does it have to be negative? Why can't we allow ourselves to look at a different way of networking? It's like DNA, it comes in and out. And that's when I started to study quantum networking entanglements and this understanding of why we sometimes feel serendipity of I'm meant to meet you, or sometimes we feel like I'm thinking about you and you call me. Or why do we sometimes feel like we know this person somewhere? I know you. Is it a past life? Did I meet you somewhere? Did I see you? Like, where is that all from? It's not random. Entanglements are really out there. And sometimes we're meant to have time apart from people. It's okay. So that's why I'm saying that I'm a really good student at this, because I'm constantly studying what I think I need to know. And I don't even know what I don't know. Like, oh my God, there's so much out there.
okay, three things. One, you are pioneering this, right? That's what you're doing. Like, because it doesn't exist, right? You're a 5-1. You're absolutely like you have been for years leading. And we don't know the finished article. Do you know what I mean? We go bring it back to the pyramids. I mean, who built the pyramids? A way more advanced civilization than even what we're operating in now. And I think we can be coming back to that. But like you are leading this for us now. And it's like TBC. When you were talking there, I was like getting this download. I was like, this is your new phrase as you pioneer this beautiful way of quantum networking. And the typical tagline has always been, the fortune is in the follow-up. And it's like, no, the fortune is in the frequency. So it trusting in, like, it is in that energy, what feels real. And I love what you're saying about the tea movement, or like creating the ceremony, which I'm all about. Like, I mean, me and my husband do that like quite often. Like, we go to the beach. This is where we had our vision board meeting. Like, we're talking about 2026 now, on the beach this morning, cup of cacao, and we just sitting there, and we're like pumped at the end of it. And like, this is from two people that used to be in boardrooms doing this kind of shit. And then we have to decondition out of that and create that connection. But creating that ceremonial space is changing the frequency for how people connect. Like, it makes them drop their guard straight away. So how can people join one of your beautiful chatty ceremonies?
Thank you. Yeah. So, we're a startup. So, I'm not in a position where I'm telling people come and buy our products. I'm telling people, if you like what you're hearing, come and help me with this movement. I understood that teaching people about networking is not as easy as getting them to come and join a cup of tea and learning it from their own experience. After one tea ceremony, the way I call them is tea salons. They're not as formal. It's a new way of looking at networking where the music is not too loud and no one is drinking alcohol around you. And it's a much more meaningful conversation. People are there in presence with each other. So currently, we're very, very active here in Bali because it's where I live. We started finding partners in different parts of the world, and that's growing. But I'm looking for people who want to help. I'm looking for people who want to help me bring this movement into the world next year. We have a lot of the resources we need. I'm the main investor in this business itself. I don't want to be the main investor. I want to bring in other people to help us. I'm looking for more, partners that want to bring this to the world because one, it's a very exciting industry. The entire tea industry is just very exciting in general because of its potential and how fast it's going to grow in the next few years. But combining the world of tea and the world of socializing, the world of networking together, I find as a very, very beautiful match made in heaven. So it's really, I'm going into matchmaking of human beings for love and business using tea. So I'm looking for people to just connect with me if they want to build more community and if they want more opportunity and if they need more unity and if they want to create it's all
I'm
it's
loving
all
this
right
play
there.
on yeah, this is good.
Yeah, so I'm opening things up for people to connect with me if they're looking for a new path of life, they're looking for maybe a new job, they want to like awaken their entrepreneurial spirit into something like this, or maybe they're already an entrepreneur and they're like, hey, I'm tired of what I'm doing, I want to pivot, I want to join Gil on this mission. Let's go, reach out to me. I'm in Bali, but next year I'll be traveling a lot more. Currently, we've started a massive partnership with an organization called Human Garage. It's one of the biggest partnerships in my life. Human Garage is currently the #1 wellness movement in the world, over 100 million active members around the world. And we are fully on board with them. I'm officially inside their company as well. And together with Chati, for me, it's ideal because I want Chati to be able to influence everywhere in the world, to be able to be a little bit more chatty over a cup of tea, but I can't go everywhere right away. So I'm starting with people who are a little bit more mindful about their health and people who are into longevity and people who are into coaching and people who are into serving and giving back. And why not partner up with the biggest wellness movement in the world? And we've done that. So if anybody else wants to partner up with us, reach out to me, tell me that, Elaine Kelly in the house sent you to me, gonna give you a big hug and kiss, and we'll jump in a chat. And the easiest way to reach out to me, I think it's the most loving way, is to send me a 1-minute voice message.
Oh, I love this. Well, I'm going to tell you after. I'm like, I'll do one for you in Mallorca, but this is amazing. I love your energy. I love your movement. I love the mission. And I really, well, first of all, I'll sign myself up for Mallorca or wherever I'm going to be around the world, but I will put all of your details and your links into the show notes so everyone can connect with you. And I also love your boundary of send me a 1-minute audio, not 10 minutes, just as you said, because this is back to how we should be connecting. As I said, over communication and not, what did I say? Over communicating, under connecting. Like we're overshare, we spill too much words. Actually, just as you said, keep it sweet. I like this. This really resonated. Boom. And because the thing is, we can feel, right? I'm sure this is what we were saying. Like you trust yourself so much more as you go along the way going, this feels right. Logically, I don't need to know. I don't need to necessarily have your CV of all your accolades, whatever. It's like, I know by my feeling here that there's something this connection should explore, because it is beyond the logical as we're talking about the spiritual realm. Even for like us doing this podcast, I'm here going like, yeah, something about this just feels good. My spleen was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So I'm excited to see this little mycelium network that will ripple from this, and who will be inspired around the world, who's going to set up an event with you. And everyone should obviously get in and do some of your very generous trainings on quantum networking as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time. And you have such incredible energy. I really appreciate the questions and the way you engaged. And I challenge everyone out there to, not hold themselves back. And the reason I tell them just take 1 minute, because you have 1,000 minutes in a day. So there's sometimes no need to overthink it. There's sometimes no need to overplan it. And sometimes when we write someone a text, we overwrite or we underwrite, like, "Hi, Gil, how are you?" That's such a bad way of following up with someone, but sending someone your voice, your energy.
Yeah.
1 minute is over 100 words in most languages. And that's so powerful, to take 1 minute out of the 1,000 available minutes and to share anything, something you liked, something that inspired you. Tell me what you're up to. Tell me what you're doing, anything. And what people see very, very quickly, once they start practicing this 1 minute, they get really good at it very fast. And if you're going to send me a minute, please send Elaine a message as well. 1 minute, and tell her how amazing she is. And tell her what else you want to see from her, because she keeps on serving us.
I love it. You're doing a great close for me already. But we actually now have commenting available on all the podcasts, new features. I'm loving all these technology advancements. So please do, we would love to know your greatest takeaway from this chat. What was your biggest shift, I suppose, and what are you excited about networking in the future? And Gil, thank you so much. I look forward to us sitting down for a cup of tea in Bali in 2026 as we shake up the collective and move first as our Aries selves.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much again.
Thanks, everyone, for
listening. With you soon.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your journey in activating your higher self. I'm so grateful to every listener in this community and would love to know what you think. So drop into my DMs or send me a message and be a part of the expansion of our collective by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. And let's rise and flow together.